Good morning, everyone. My name is Olga Tikka, and as the Director General of the European and Mediterranean Plant Protection Organization, I welcome you to the EPPO webinar on communication, Plant Health in Focus, Raising Awareness of Regulated and Emerging Pests for Professionals and the Public. Today we will discuss the importance of communicating risks related to regulated and emerging pests. Engaging both professionals and the public, it's essential for early detection and effective enforcement of phytosanitary measures. This webinar highlights innovative communication strategies and successful case studies designed to raise awareness. I would like to recognize efforts of our speakers today, EPPO panel on plant protection information, and EPPO scientific officers Muriel Souffet and Samuel Warner in organizing this webinar. We have an exciting agenda with a range of experts presenting on plant health communication topics. The webinar topics will emphasize practical experiences, aiming to share real-life experience, examples and initiatives. Its purpose is to encourage participants to consider how these insights could be applied in their own situations. Once again, thank you for joining us today, and I wish to all of us successful and fruitful discussions, and over to Samuel to facilitate the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga, for the introduction. Yes, and welcome to everyone who's joined. Thank you very much for joining. I think we've got representation from across the whole world today, so this is wonderful that so many people have been able to join us. Just a reminder that we've got a break, about 5-minute break in the middle of the webinar today, so if you need to refresh yourselves, that opportunity will be presented later. And we will have some interactive sections throughout, so make sure to use the question and answer section at the bottom of your Zoom panel that was just presented now. And then we will also have a poll section at the end of the presentation as well. I will now pass over to our first speaker. We've got a great range of speakers today presenting on communication topics for both professionals and the public, and hopefully you'll see the full range of great campaigns that can help raise the awareness of plant health. So I will pass over to our first panelist, Paul Beals and Lucy Carson-Taylor from the Animal and Plant Health Agency in the UK. So they represent the UK National Plant Protection Organisation. Thank you very much, Paul. I'll hand over to you, who I believe is starting this talk.
Lovely to see you all. It's a real pleasure to be here, and a great pleasure to be on the panel of plant protection information. It's a great team. If anybody's interested in joining, it's a lovely team to be working with. One of the things that we've published from it, and this is the sort of introductory session really to this lovely webinar today. I'm going to give an introduction, and my colleague Lucy Carson-Taylor is also going to speak on the 2 standards that have been published following a lot of work that's been gone on through the panel to help raise awareness of regulated and emerging plant pests to both the public and to a professional audience. So the first thing when we were thinking about this is, why do we need to do this? What is the importance? What's the reason to this? So it was really around our sort of strategic approach of engaging with the public, with the wider professional groups. We needed a consistent approach, so something that everybody could use to utilize to help them understand some of the approaches that all our different countries utilize and bring together that we have found that have been successful in our various campaigns. It helps us inspire our national plant protection organisations. But one of the key things that EPPO really does extremely well is has support there. So many sort of approaches that we can take to support, and you'll be hearing many of those in the upcoming seminars. But also a lot of resources there are available through EPPO as well that everybody can access. So the primary objectives of the work here really were as I mentioned, it's really to encourage that reporting. So we're getting that wider audience really to report these pests and diseases back into our national plant protection organisations. We've got a huge amount of citizen science out there, and people we find are very enthusiastic and very keen to help protect their own countries against these invasive plant pests and diseases. We need to have a sort of a clearly structured approach so that we do it at the right time. So we're not just sort of saying something that's way in the future or long gone. It's something that's a very timely approach to that. And also we thought, well, we need to make sure that within these standards that we have our information that actually doesn't just say, here's how to spot, but what to do, and other changes that people can put in place, behavioural changes to make a difference. Now, the two audiences I mentioned are both the public and the trade, the professional organisations. So who are the public? So we generally talk of the public as enthusiastic amateur gardeners, environmentalists, sort of hobbyists, these ones that have a general interest in some form of sort of plant health, plants generally, really. We cover a wide audience, really, of private gardens, woodlands, public. The approach using the public is really good because, it's a cost-effective approach. We've kind of got a free group of people there that we can utilise for citizen science. And it also raises general good biosecurity practices as well. So these sort of approaches enable us to enable the public, enable professional organisations to have a general wider good biosecurity awareness, just generally about across all work areas as well. But also it's quite good in little sort of community groups as well. It sort of strengthens those groups, it empowers those groups as well. So we then look at the professional operators. We're looking at producers, traders, resellers, exporters, importers. These are a group where we've got that increased level of knowledge, really. They are the ones that are often specialists, really. They have very good links across different groups where they're suppliers. And also that we find that there's a lot of sort of communication there, peer-to-peer learning throughout their specific networks that are not really seen across the public space as well. We do tend to find also there's a lot of consistency across the professional operators as well. And also they're very, very focused sometimes on sort of specialist sort of plant areas as well there. So these are the two standards that everybody can have access to. The content of them, they all contain the similar sort of content pages. When do you raise awareness and why? How do you target your audience? Who will you collaborate with? The practical approaches to creativity. When do you do it? Where do you do it? And sort of what resources are available, risks, and a legal framework, really. So I think it's quite an interesting little fact there. A study from the UK found that 82% of the horticultural trade surveyed attended at least one professional show per year. So it is the majority of people do tend to attend these major events, really. So if we find the right place to carry out our engagement, then we can really target the audience most effectively. Also, some of our public shows, for example, the RHS Chelsea Flower Show, attract over 160,000 people. Fantastic opportunities there. to engage. So other areas around the pest specifically is, what do they look like? What do we focus on? What do they look like in comparison with other non-harmful organisms? Why are they a problem? And where do you find them? So what host plants to look at, geographical niches, ecological areas, etc. And what do you do if you spot them as well, and how to report them? So I'm going to hand over to my colleague now to carry on with a little bit more. So pass over to you, Lucy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Paul, for that incredibly helpful introduction into the standards. The standards don't sit in isolation and alone and away from what we're all doing already. When we put together the plant biosecurity strategy for Great Britain, you'll notice we've got outcome 2 here, a society that values healthy plants. And when we were designing engagement approaches to increase the number of people within that society, using the EPPO standards has been an incredibly helpful tool. I'd really encourage you to think about it and how the standards that exist from EPPO can fit into your own existing strategies, whether it's a business strategy or a policy strategy. Next slide, please, Paul. Paul mentioned engaging professional operators. We don't just use the standards, and I'd just like to take a moment to give you a couple of other suggestions that can help with this engagement. We noticed a gap in the UK with a particular audience. And one of the things we find incredibly useful is to collaborate with social researchers. They give us such a strong evidence base about how best to approach our many different audiences. In this case, it was landscape architects and garden designers. And we've put this into practice, but again, we refer back to the EPPO standards for inspiration for the practical application, but giving us this push points from a really good, solid evidence base of how best to approach, in this case, through CPD. And this was through the Scottish Plant Health Centre, who did this incredible piece of research. Do think about where you can collaborate and where you can commission and where you can draw on the great evidence base that already exists and is published and out there. You'll see our lovely colourful exhibit there, and that was one of the that was at a professional show where the standard is so high when people exhibit that you can sometimes get a little bit lost with your government approaches. And in the standards, again, it speaks about this. And you'll see we're using some really colourful imagery and some huge pests that I know many of my colleagues around the EPPO region also love to take this approach and find it really helpful. On the right side there, we've got the little credit card sized alert cards. I wish I could say that these were entirely of our own imagination. They weren't. Our brilliant colleague, Susie Pearce, who was one of the EPPO Fellowship recipients, through EPPO, she was able to go to Canada. Canada use this approach, and they use it really successfully. Through Susie, we were able to speak with Canada, talk about what worked, what doesn't. And again, it's that sharing that knowledge across the countries for best practice. It's incredibly helpful. Next slide, please, Paul. I wanted to mention a little bit about engaging the public. It's all very well having it in the standards and what you should do. And as you can see from the wonderful smiles of Nora and Anne's faces from the Animal and Plant Health Agency, they were swamped with thousands and thousands of children at this event. And I wanted to just take a moment to mention how important your people are in all of this. If you select the right people for the right event, it really does make a difference. And Nora did days of this and smiled like that the whole way through when I would have given up quite long ago. You'll have the opportunity at some events, as you can see in the middle, to engage at the highest level, but you'll see the caterpillar that's on Nora's shoulder also making a great impact on His Majesty the King. It's these lovely engaging approaches that can be tactile, they can be super visual. It doesn't have to just be a screen with writing, and the standards really reinforce this. Again, you'll see one of our Chelsea exhibits. This was last year with our staff working hard, absolutely swamped with people. Over the week, they spoke with over 50,000 people. And again, just think about making sure your staff are aware of how to engage. Don't keep the standards to yourself. They're there for everybody, and we'd really encourage that sharing through the NPPOs. Thank you, Paul. That's me finished.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Sam.
Thank you very much, both of you. That was really wonderful to see, and nice to see that there's such a global spread as well, and that you could get some of this to Canada. So we'll open the floor to any questions that we've got from the audience. I see we've already got one coming through so far. So I will start with this question. So in the exhibitions, how do you make sure that your audience has a good idea of the pest? For instance, size. The models here that you used are huge. I saw the big bug that you had on the table there. The targeted pests generally are very, very small. How do you sort of communicate these differences when you're doing these exhibitions?
Yeah, do you want me to start or
Yeah, you start, Paul. Go for
Lucy?
it.
One thing, and it's a really good question. Thank you so much for that. Where we can, we will try and put a dead version of the pest, or usually a pest, if it or actually on the with the exhibit at the same time. It's a great way of people actually seeing exactly what the organism does look like. And however well you can model something, you never can quite model it exactly right. When we were one of those pictures you saw there at Chelsea, it was quite comical actually, because we had a model, didn't we, Lucy, of the Asian hornet, and the number of people, and it was a model that was about, I don't know, it was about a quarter of a meter high, and the amount of people coming to us going, is that actual size? Was quite surprising. So you do need to have something, even scale bars, they really need to be very, very, very visible. We found that even because on that model that I mentioned, it did have, this is times 15 times 20 of the real size, but people weren't actually reading that. I think it is different between the trade and the general public, we find, but try, if you can. A lot of, obviously you can't take live disease there. We've done things where for example, we were showing a powdery mildew. We dusted some powder, literal talcum powder, on some leaves to kind of demonstrate it. Lucy, did you want to add anything to that at all?
Yeah, it's a really good point, Paul, and thank you for the question, because historically we know the UK has had this really long history of doing Colorado beetle campaigns, and one of the learnings from the past was that the general public, due to the posters that we used, seemed to think that Colorado beetles were the size of tortoises. So we've taken that learning and use a real life example. So for example, we'll have something beautiful that attracts attention, these huge beetle, but then we may, as Paul said, have pinned specimens. We will obviously carry literature. So here is the actual card that I spoke of, and this is actual size. So my colleagues, Danny and Duncan, went to a great deal of trouble to make sure these were scaled to actual size. So we have something to show people exactly what it is we're looking for. But don't be afraid to grab attention with something ridiculous. I mean, I keep these with me all the time and they're just fabulous, but we certainly don't expect people to think they're going to see caterpillars quite this size. Thank you.
Thank you. That's wonderful. So just conscious of time, but we've got a couple of questions that we're going to ask again. How do you make sure that you select what's most appropriate for your audience? Obviously, you've got different audiences there, both professional and public at different sort of trade fairs. How do you make sure that you're targeting that well?
Shall I start with this one, Paul?
Yeah, you can start, Lucy. Yeah.
I mentioned social research, and I can't tell you how important that is. We have a programme in the United Kingdom called the National Conversation at the moment, where we're looking at exactly how we target the public. And I find the public the most difficult audience. Your trade audiences, you know your risks. We've got our fantastic pest risk analysts in DEFRA. We know our priority risks. We have the risk register. We know the pests that trade are most interested in. We have a great relationship with our trade bodies who tell us what they want us to communicate, tell us where there's misunderstanding. So it's that two-way dialogue with our audiences, but with the general public it can be tricky, and you do need to be quite targeted. Don't Risk It was a brilliant EPPO campaign, and it worked so well across many countries because it was really simple, really straightforward and simple. With the national conversation, the social research we're doing gets a bit more complex. And we're even looking at questions about, do the public care about plant and tree health in the first place? Are we just shouting into nothingness? They do care, you'll be pleased to know. But we're really looking quite hard at the best routes to reach them with plant health messages. And it might not be as straightforward and obvious as you think, because there's so much doom and gloom in the world that people don't necessarily want us talking about doom and gloom. They might want us talking about trees in relation to air quality and how they can keep their neighbourhoods thriving through great air quality and protecting the trees. We are publishing all of this, so DEFRA will be holding all of this on the Plant Health portal, and so will Forest Research on their pages. and I'll make sure I share those links with EPPO as they come out, because it's really good reading, and I genuinely believe that evidence base we get from social research is critical to all that we do in the UK. Thank you.
I'll just add to that. Thanks, Lucy. Absolutely spot on. It's the key thing. But what I would say is, don't be afraid of doing like a small event, a small public event, and kind of learn from that. We've done a lot of these where we've trialed different areas. We're always listening to we're talking specifically about the public engagement, but we're always listening to the public. So don't be afraid to do those events where you think, oh, it's not necessarily going to attract lots of people, but at least we're getting a bit of a feel of what people want, what they're interested in, and areas, and how do they see us, and those conversations, and it just helps build that rapport, and it just gives you that initial sort of, and then you can use that feedback and lessons learned to then move on to the next event.
That's excellent. Thank you very much, both Paul and Lucy. For some of the people who've asked questions that we haven't managed to answer throughout the rest of the webinar, individual presenters will be able to reply, and you'll see their answers in the Q&A section. So don't worry if your question hasn't been answered during this section. I'll also just remind, if you're putting your hands up, unfortunately, we can't bring you onto the screen. So if you've got a specific question, please ask that in the Q&A. But now we go on to a wonderful case study that we've got from Switzerland. So I'll introduce Miriam, who will be presenting on detection of tree pests and diseases through targeted courses for professionals. So Miriam, over to you.
Thank you, Sam. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about the courses on detecting tree pests and diseases that we are conducting for professionals. So, why did we decide to organize such courses? Obviously, forced quarantine pests are really usually first introduced into urban areas before they reach forests. So professionals working in the management of green spaces can contribute to early detection if they know how to recognize them. The early detection of quarantine pests is obviously crucial for their successful eradication. So, the information about quarantine pests, the symptoms they cause, and the obligation to report findings is unfortunately very limited in professional training for relevant professions such as landscape gardeners. And luckily, aside from the Asian longhorned beetle, no quarantine pests of trees are present in Switzerland, which means that many quarantine pests of forests are not well known. So, our target audience is exactly those professionals working on the maintenance of trees and green spaces, such as landscape gardeners, or employees of communes or regions who are involved in the management of green areas. And we know that this audience is particularly important for us and for early detection, because one of the infestations with the Asian longhorned beetle in Switzerland was actually discovered by a young landscape gardener that had seen a poster of ALB that we had produced. And then he knew that he had to notify the authorities about the finding. So the aims of the course is that the participants become familiar with the issue of plant health in general and the legal obligations that there are, that they can recognize the most relevant forest quarantine pests and the symptoms that they cause, and that they know what to do and who to contact in case of a suspected infestation. So to organize the course, we contracted a company that specializes in organizing trainings. So that means that all the administrative tasks and all the advertising is taken care of by communications experts. So far, we have conducted these courses 3 times in 2018, 2023, and this year. And each time they are conducted in all official languages. So there are 2 courses in German, 1 in French, and 1 in Italian in the different parts of the country. The courses last for half a day and consist of 3 parts with presentations and exercises. The participants have to register in advance and pay a small fee because spots are limited. This is just to ensure that the people who register actually show up. And the presentation and exercises are given by experts in policy, forest entomology, and pathology. And usually those are people that are involved with the NPPO. So the first part covers basic information. What are quarantine pests, how they're introduced, why they can establish, the obligation to report any suspected infestations or findings of quarantine pests, the Swiss NPPO and Swiss forest protection and different competencies regarding regulated plant pests, and the measures against the introduction and spread of quarantine pests. Then the second part is about forest quarantine pests and the symptoms that they cause. So there is a presentation on insects that covers Asian longhorned beetle, citrus longhorned beetle, and emerald ash borer, and the presentation on nematodes and fungi that covers the pinewood nematode, pine pitch canker, and Phytophthora remorum. And so the participants learn about biology of the organisms, their symptoms, and also pathways. And for the insects, we bring some illustrative material, like as here you can see at the bottom right, wood that has been infected by the Asian longhorned beetle, and prepared insects so that the participants can see what the scale would be if they meet them in real life. The third part consists of exercises. So the participants are split into 3 groups and rotate between 3 exercises. So in smaller groups, they have a better opportunity to actively participate in the exercises. The first exercise is to identify the pests and diseases that they've learned about based on pictures, which you can see in the picture below. The second exercise covers how to proceed if a quarantine pest is found, so they have to choose the correct actions from a variety of possibilities. And the third exercise is about selecting the adequate equipment when working on a potentially infested tree, again based on pictures. The results are discussed after every exercise, and the participants have time to ask any questions. We also hand out some informative material, as we hope that the participants will share them with their colleagues. So we have flyers and fact sheets about the pests that they have learned about. And we also have an identification guide for Asian longhorned beetles, which is a small booklet that can easily be taken with you when you go to work and fits into a pocket. What we have learned is, while we were conducting these courses, that if funds are available, contracting a company to organize the course significantly lessens the workload on EPPO employees. So all we have to do is prepare our presentations and show up on the days of the course. And this, of course, is a really big plus. And we also noticed that following the short presentations by practical exercises help drive the key messages home, so the participants can immediately practice what they have just heard about. And also planning sufficient time for questions and feedbacks helps us optimize the course. We always hand out the feedback questionnaire at the end and then adjust the course based on the feedback we've received. So to sum up, our experience has been that these courses for professionals working on the management of green spaces can enhance early detection of quarantine pests as participants learn how to recognize the pests and the symptoms they cause, and learn how to report any suspected infestations. Thank you very much for your attention. And please let me know if you have any questions.
Thanks very much, Miriam. That was great. And thank you for so smoothly fixing the technical issue earlier. I think just in the interest of time, we do have a couple of questions in the Q&A section, but we're going to ask if, Miriam, if you could answer those yourself, and then participants will be able to see that in the answered section. But now we will move on to the case study from Austria by Christina Topicznik. Thank you very much.
So hello to everybody. I'm very excited also to present today a case study from Austria for all of you. I will present our national reporting platform for the Japanese beetle, and also the related awareness raising campaign. My name is Christina, and I'm working for the Austrian Plant Protection Service. So what is the situation now in Austria with the Japanese beetle, or in Europe? So the Japanese beetle, unfortunately, not yet knocking on heaven's door. It seems that Europe is like a heaven for the pest. The situation in Austria is that the beetle is getting closer and closer. There are already outbreaks and single findings in our neighboring countries, and we expect this pest also this year, and findings this year. In fact, there is an increasing risk of occurrence in Austria. Therefore, an early detection is the key and essential for us, and targeted awareness-raising actions for the public have been considered and serve as add-ons to support the official survey activities in our 9 federal states in Austria. So the idea was to involve the public more and to develop a national reporting platform. And the first steps were that we have to evaluate the existing platforms, so internally and externally. But after a while, after that evaluation, we decide to develop a new national platform. And what were the reasons for this decision? We thought, okay, this is a very sensitive topic to a regulated priority pest, and due to national responsibilities, which have consequences for all of us, and also the consequences for the measures. In contrast, maybe to reporting of such more friendly species like protected species or beneficial species. For the beginning, we wanted to have a simple technical solution in our own language and centrally controlled by our experts. And this was also the first example for Austria, for a citizen science project for a EU-regulated pest. And so therefore we thought the time is ready for a reporting platform. And also we just try to evaluate the technical requirements to have to also use already exciting technical tools, and also for us the most important point was that we have the validation process of data by our own experts because of the sensitive topic. In addition, before we have any implementation, we need the agreement of all authorities involved because of different responsibilities in Austria. And I would like to point out here that the reporting platform for the Japanese people is an additional tool to involve the public beside of all other national activities of the NPPOs, the NPPO. So just a little bit, I would like to take you with me with a technical background, just a briefly summary. So before this technical implementation, we start to update the website, to update the information about the Japanese beetle, and to get enough good images, a good material for lookalikes that we could explain it and show it to the citizens. What are the differences for the identification? And we use a TPO3, TPO3 online form for reporting. It's a very simple online data mask. It's also compatible for mobile devices, so it has to be in our times. And after an entry, the data is transferred to a JIRA ticket for internal processing. So if someone of you knows JIRA, it's normally used as an IT ticket system or for project management. But we have the solution to use also this easy tool for transferring the data for internal processing. It's really easy because it was already established in our company, and the validation by the Argus experts is really quick and easy. And we have integrated automatic response options. So it's kind of if we get pictures where we have no confirmation of the Japanese beetle, then it's a negative validation with automatic responses. And in the case when you have a positive confirmation of a suspicious finding, then they get the automatic response for the confirmation, and then the information is forwarded to the responsible federal states. The reporting platform is online since last year, July. And last year it was more like the starting point or a pilot phase for getting experiences, how we will proceed it with the first reporting platform for the priority pest. And this year we will start with promotion of the platform in May. So just to show you some results and experiences, in 2024 we have only negative validation. This means that we have no findings of Popillia japonica in this reporting platform in the period July until September. And if you're asking how many entries we get, because these were our considerations, will it get too much? Could we handle it with our experts? But there were around 20 entries. That doesn't sound like a lot for you, but for our first pilot phase and to gain experience for the first year, it was an adequate start. And we are trying to promote it more this year. For the results, we have many reports of many different beetles, like other native scarab beetles, so species of chafers like the rose chafer, Cetonia aurata, or the wheat chafer, Anisoplia austriaca. Yeah, and also diversity of so-called non-petals. At the first point, it was a little bit a surprise for us, but normal bugs were also reported and entered in the reporting platforms, like the brown marmorated stink bug or larvae of the southern green stink bug. So, but we were happy about this reportings because, as we already heard it, people just should get involved in such topics of plant health, and for them it's an insect, and maybe they heard it on the media, and just want to make a picture and try the reporting platform. So, at the first pilot phase, we were happy about these reportings. For the awareness raising campaign, we use various channels for putting the information outside of our bubble. So many social media postings, and it is also possible to integrate this kind of topics under different focuses or various focuses, like the One Health focus or also the International Day of Plant Health. There are many press releases. So in Austria, we have a centralized press agency, so where every media can get this, can get the information. It works very well, and we have really a good support from our communication department in our agency. We publish various articles in magazines and newspapers, in print and online. And in addition, presentation and talks are always necessary and important for different target groups. And also the activities of the federal states are important to promote that kind of plant health topics, and also the reporting platform for the Japanese beetle. There are just some examples of online newspapers, and I just want to point it out that in this context, we have noted that after the news in the media, reporting of findings immediately followed. So for us, it was a little bit a confirmation, or it was the confirmation that there is a direct impact of media and reporting, and therefore I would like just to highlight this importance. As already Ball talks about the corporations, so we also try to spread the information also with other organizations. So we have cooperations with some nature conservation associations or also environmental agencies, which have often much brighter targeted groups, or brighter range of people who are interested in topics, and just to sneak it in and get also that kind of topics for regulated pests in these organizations. It is always very helpful to have a good exchange with other countries for reporting or for results of the reporting, and of course for findings and outbreaks management of our neighboring countries, to get the experiences and the exchange of what are the important steps. It is always also possible to integrate such small campaigns or some national reporting platforms in projects. We did that for the Japanese reporting platform for a fresco project. And further develop is always in our heads. So there are a lot of ideas to develop it further. So it's possible to roll it out for other pests or other insects, and there is always a way for improvements, so to develop interfaces or the use of artificial intelligence. Regarding this, a wide range of networks are always useful, and to reach and involve also other sectors as well for plant health topics. So I have now reached the end, and I also take the opportunity to refer to a new video. So please check it out. It's with English subtitles, and I heard that it will we will play it in the break. So and it's also published in the platform for communication material in the EPPO platform. And finally, I want to highlight that even for small countries like Austria, such campaigns, such national activities are possible, as every action counts. So thank you, and it was very glad to present this campaign to all of you today.
Thank you very much for that presentation, Christina. And as you mentioned, we'll be showing the video for the Japanese beetle campaign in the break, and it will have English subtitles as well. So there are a couple of questions that have come in on the Q&A, which I'll ask Christina to answer some of them during the break or throughout the rest of the webinar. I'll just ask, so that was a really interesting presentation, and there's quite a range of tools that you have on offer. Have you noticed that this has increased some of the reporting compared to where you would have been otherwise? Like, do you think that if other countries can implement this sort of like some of these technological solutions, whether this can actually increase both for professionals and the public as well?
Yes, also we know that this is a really easy solution, so maybe it's possible if other countries have similar similar developments. So as all of you know, maybe there is a great EU Populia IPM platform. So it's also international. We try maybe to have also some interfaces or some exchange with it. But when there is also, we have also ideas if there would be an findings and then maybe an outbreak, then in such kind of demarket areas, maybe such platforms could also be used, but these are just discussions. So I saw one question also if it's possible to test our reporting platform. So I would answer that maybe we can talk together and I show you it directly because I think in this panel or in this webinar it's maybe too less time to show it, but it's possible, yes.
That's great. Thank you very much. So we will show this video in just a moment, but we're now going to break until 11 o'clock. So if everyone could make sure that they're back by then. But obviously there's this really interesting video that you can watch for the first few minutes of the break, which we'll start sharing now. And then we'll start after the break at 11 o'clock with Mariangela's presentation. Thank you very much.
Der Japankäfer stammt ursprünglich aus Nordostasien. In Europa tritt er eingeschränkt in Norditalien und in der Südschweiz auf. Einzelne Käferfunde in Fallen wurden aber in den vergangenen Jahren auch im grenznahen Deutschland und Slowenien verzeichnet. Außerhalb seiner Heimat ist ein gefürchteter Schädling, da er große Schäden an zahlreichen Pflanzenarten wie Wein, Obst- und ackerbaulichen Kulturen verursachen kann. Die Käfer fressen an Blüten, Blättern und Früchten, dabei können sie auch massenhaft auf den Pflanzen sitzen. Die Larven fressen an den Wurzeln von Gräsern und krautigen Pflanzen. Hohe Ertragsverluste können die Folge sein. Daher ist der Japankäfer in der EU als prioritärer Quarantäneschädling gelistet. Das bedeutet, dass er nicht eingeschleppt werden darf und eine weitere Verbreitung unbedingt verhindert werden muss. Sein Auftreten ist daher auch meldepflichtig.
Der Japankäfer ist ca. 10 mm lang und 6 mm breit. Ein typisches Erkennungsmerkmal sind die weißen Haarbüschel. Der Japankäfer hat jeweils 5 Büschel an den Seiten des Hinterleibs und 2 Büschel auf dem letzten Hinterleibssegment. Der Kopf und die Brust sind grün metallisch schillernd. Die Flügeldecken sind nicht behaart, schillern kupferfarbig und haben einen metallisch grünen Rand. Die Larven sind typische Engerlinge und werden bis zu 30 mm groß. Der Japankäfer ist mit einheimischen Käfern leicht zu verwechseln. Aufgrund seiner geringeren Größe kann er sehr gut vom Maikäfer und Rosenkäfer unterschieden werden. Dem Gartenlaubkäfer und dem südlichen Getreidelaubkäfer sieht er sehr ähnlich. Diese weisen aber keine Haarbüschel auf. Beim südlichen Getreidelaubkäfer ist die Körperunterseite dicht behaart und der Kopf und die Brust sind schwarz gefärbt. Beim Gartenlaubkäfer sind die Flügeldecken hingegen braun und fein behaart.
In Österreich ist ein Japankäfer noch nicht aufgetreten. Käfer wären ab Juni bis etwa Mitte September zu erwarten. Es besteht ein hohes Risiko für eine Einschleppung und Ansiedlung. Die Käfer verbreiten sich häufig als blinde Passagiere über diverse Transportwege. Daher sollten Reisende Gepäck und Fahrzeuge vor der Rückreise aus stark befallenen Regionen sorgfältig kontrollieren. Zudem sollten keine Pflanzen, Schnittblumen, Gemüse oder Früchte mitgebracht werden. Es ist wichtig, das Auftreten des Japankäfers möglichst früh zu erkennen, um eine weitere Verbreitung zu verhindern. Daher kontrollieren die Pflanzenschutzdienste der 9 Bundesländer mittels Fallen laufend, ob der Käfer eingeschleppt wurde oder er sich bereits angesiedelt hat. Zusätzlich wurde eine Japankäfer-Meldeplattform von der AGES und dem amtlichen Pflanzenschutzdienst eingerichtet, wo verdächtige Käferfunde unter Angabe wichtiger Funddaten gemeldet werden können. Die hochgeladenen Fotos werden von AGES-Expertinnen und Experten überprüft und bestimmt. Bitte helfen Sie mit, eine Ausbreitung des Japankäfers zu verhindern. Melden Sie uns verdächtige Funde. Damit leisten Sie einen wichtigen Beitrag zum Schutz unserer Natur.
Hello and welcome back after the break. We are just going to post the link to that video from YouTube in the chat so everyone can watch this afterwards, and you should be able to have the sound on this one as well. So thank you very much, Christina, for sharing that. Marie-Angela, if you are ready, would you like to share your screen? And we will now, the presentation is on different communication campaigns for an effective campaign. So this is a case study, an example from Italy, and Marie-Angela is going to present this for us now. I hand the floor over to you, Marie-Angela. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam, and hello to everyone. I'm Maria-Angela Ciampiti. I work for the Plant Protection Service of Lombardy region that is part of the Italian EPPO. I'm very glad today to share our experience on this topic and also to be part of this very extraordinary panel on plant protection information. So to plan a communication campaign, consider your goals, target audience, message, timeline, and channels, and then implement your plan creatively. So I didn't write these words, but yesterday I asked to AI, artificial intelligence, to support me to create a sentence for a call to action on this topic. And this is the result. And I believe that starting from now and in the future, AI can help a lot us in this task to communicate plant health and plant protection. For example, to adapt the message to different audience or to create new images, etc. And perhaps could be the subject for our next EPPO standard on plant protection information. Our experience related to different channels and different tools. So in Lombardy, we use the traditional channels like the printed materials, poster, flyers, etc., events, articles in magazines, websites, and some relatively new channels like social media, video channels, online advertising, mobile app, webinars, etc. In this slide, you can see our first video broadcast in local TV stations related to Anoplophora kinesis. We called the tarlo asiatico, longer beetle, in 2008. This at that time, this channel was a very effective channel to raise awareness not only on longer beetle, but in general on plant pest risk. But currently there is no more audience for local TV stations, so it's not anymore an effective tool. So we have adapted the message, the tool available at the appropriate time. And also you can see in this slide the communication campaign that in Milan underground stations, and was repeated for several years. And then the message related to the plant pest risk was very, very well received, and was not necessary to repeat again this experience. And we have to assess also the efficacy of difference in the same channels like social media, the different efficacy on different platforms. I give you an example from a situation of from few weeks ago, the same news related to action plan on Anoplophora glabripennis, the replanting of trees cut down during the eradication program, and the same news in two different platforms, in X or in LinkedIn. You can see the different views, the different engagement, and in LinkedIn almost 20 times more engagement than in X. So we have also to assess this kind of efficacy to use effectively our human and financial resources. The most important channel that we use to communicate with our users, in particular professionals, is the website. The website, we provide information related to plant pest, to regulations, all the information that our users needed. But we can use this channel, the website, also as a two-way communication channel. For example, recently we create a new online form for reporting neglected vineyards. So to receive the information from producers, from citizens related to this situation, linked to the action plan on Flavescens doré for vineyards. We linked also our website to the geoportal. So in this moment, professionals are able to search a specific area and to see if in the specific area there is some requirement related to the presence of specific pest. So very useful for professionals. And there is a direct link from our website. The language, of course, is Italian, the language of website, but some information could be useful also for colleagues from other countries. And you can see the example related to Japanese beetle. That we currently the information, the weekly update related, the wiki update on Japanese beetle population trend is available also in English, and the web page is also available in English for the call for Christina and for other colleagues interested in Japanese beetle. During the International Year of Plant Health, we decided to create a different platform, a different website, specifically for citizens, administrations, and for students. Similar information, but in a different way, simple way. And there is also the link for more information. There is the link to the official website to see the maps, to see the more information related to the pest, to the activities. Another channel that we use for more than 10 years is a Phytodetective app. It's a citizen science app. And is also this channel is a two-way communication channel, because we provide informations on pests, the most wanted pest in Lombardy, present or absent in our territory. But we can receive also two-way channel, because we can receive the report from citizens, from naturalists, from hobbyists, and but we can receive the reports only from Lombardy, and only from the area, the pest-free area, the area where we know that the pest is not present yet, and we are interested to receive these reports. In this case, you can see one of our communication campaign on social media. You can see the social cards related to Japanese beetle. The social cards are not only related to the prevention, but also to the action plan. So how to control the pest, how to control in gardens or in private gardens or professionals. And for this campaign, we for the first time we asked also a celebrity, a testimonial, to help us. It was an important experience. But we have it's important to properly assess the cost effective and to use the celebrity, and also it's important to maintain a cooperation, a long-term cooperations. Using the social media, it's important for us to consider that not all the difference between the platforms. So we have to create different posters, different images for different platforms. And it's important to consider that some platforms like X and LinkedIn, in this platform, it's possible to link directly to our website, so to invite directly to our website, to visit our websites. In other platforms like Instagram or Facebook, there is not this possibility. It is a limit for us. Video was a very nice. The video very effective. I think the video from Austria on Japanese beetle. In the past, we used to create video like a short documentary, 3, 4, and 5 minutes. But currently, we are creating very short video to use for social media, and also for billboard or display in the airport. 15 or maximum 30 seconds of video, so very short. And at the end, not all the subjects are interesting for for a public for example, Aleurocantus spiniferus is a new pest that is possible to find also in private gardens and ornamental plants. Is interesting for a large audience. Instead, the contrary for fruit flies, the new fruit flies, priority pest. The video, our video is the target audience of this video is mainly the professionals. And we try to finalize, to conclude the video, to include at the end of the video a call to action, and also to link with a QR code to the website, to invite to visit the website for more information. In relation to the location, we can be creative. You can see the communication campaign, Don't Risk It campaign on tram in Milano, or the exhibition, biodiversity exhibition in Milan. And also we carry out a lot of different communication campaign, and Don't Risk It also the new campaign on 5 fruits in Malpensa Airport, in rail stations, and in different locations. So we can be creative in choosing the location. So thank you for your attention, and I'm available if there is some question. Thank you, and back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mariangela. Just a reminder to participants, we are going to share in the chat as well the link to our platform on communication that I'll present later, that also has some of this material that Mariangela has just presented. That's really interesting. Mariangela, I'll start with a question, and then obviously if other ones come through on the platform, we will answer through the rest of the webinar. But obviously you use quite a diverse range of different methods for communication. Do you find that there are different audiences that you can engage with in different platforms that you otherwise wouldn't have reached if you didn't do this very multi-pronged approach to talk to different audiences? Do you find this?
Yes, I think that is a key point to when we have to plan a communication campaign, we have first to focus on audience, the target audience. Some communication campaign could be addressed to the citizen, the public, the large audience. For example, in the Lombardy region, some campaigns are shared not only by the channel of Lombardy region Plant Protection Service, but also from the Lombardy region general social media, for example, and used also by our consular or used in public events for general public. And I think that is a good result, because in the past there was not this attention also from the big administration like Lombardy region to share or to invite citizens to see something or to know something related to these topics. So I think that the audience to target the message and the channel to the audience is a key point. Yeah.
Thanks. That's really great. We've got a couple of questions that we'll answer later on. Now I will hand the floor over to Camille from the Ministry of Agriculture and Food in France, who'll be presenting quite a quick but a short and sweet presentation on regional initiatives for professional operators. So Camille, the floor is yours if you're able to present. Thank you very much.
So hello everybody. I'm really glad to present some initiative from our regional phytosanitary services that were taken these past years. So the first one is a training session. It's initiatives related to the plant passport, and they were aiming to reach all professional operators with their authorization to issue plant passports. So the first one is it's one-day training sessions, because there were several, in Bourgogne-Franche-Comté region. So this is this big region. So it is a competent authority, this regional phytosanitary service, in charge of issuing plant authorization for plant passports for ornamental plants, fruit plants, and forestry plants. So it was one day, and it was general, with issue about traceability stuff, registration, and there was a big focus on the pests that professional operators have to look for. So there were 3 sessions all over the region, because it's a really big region, in fact, so several hundred kilometers to go away. And so they reached 36 professional operators and 1 technician in 2023. And there were also 2 sessions in 2024. And this time it was 24 professional operators and 1 technician. They all attended this one-day training session. And so they presented all the things they have to do in order to fulfill the regulation requirements about the plant passport issue. And so it was really intense days, and it's about what, in fact, also the presentation about what is a regulated pest, about the status and how to survey them and how to recognize them, with a lot of illustration, as you can see under here, about life cycle, symptoms in general, symptoms on plants, depending on what pest is developed, about the pest, the repartition, everything. And there was also the same kind of training session that were proposed in Occitanie region, which is, I don't know if you can see my mouse here, the southwest of France, Occitanie region. But these stations were elaborated as because the operators requested it, and it was for specific sectors. But it's also important to see that there are a lot of initiative from regional services. And so another one, it's also for the professional operators. This time it was for importers from Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region. So it's east of France, yes. And they created a specific illustrated manual, and they were on the national market interest of Lyon. And it was focused on the main threat there, because it's due to citrus importation. And so the main species, they focused on quarantine pests on citrus plants. So it was not just sent it by email. They went to the national market, interest market, and they go to the operators, importers, and show them the manual, give them a lot of explanation also about the status, the pests, and it was a really nice exchange they have with the operators, and they could see it's also really illustrated, and the operators were really astonished to see the symptoms, and they were aware now with this manual, whereas they sometimes have not heard about this. So it was a really good impact, really a nice exchange. And they did this, I think, at least two times in 2023, and it's reused and also published on the internet website of the regional services. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Camille. That was really interesting. So I'll just start, but also just aware of the time, so we probably only have time for one question here. But so with your program for professional operators, I wonder, as the ministry, do you keep contact with these operators so you can follow up? Because obviously you've created a good professional link with them so that you can continue sharing content afterwards or do any follow-up campaigns?
So it's the regional services that they are in contact.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yes.
So sorry, I'll rephrase. So the regional processes, do they keep in contact with those professionals to make sure if there's any new content, they can easily contact them? Or is it just that these events are hosted more frequently?
So for the first one, the training session, it was organized with by the regional services. And in fact, to inform them, it's because they are in touch with them. And so when they go and inspect them every year, they can give them other information. And if there is changes, improvement or anything, they keep them informed. Yes.
That's great. Thank you very much. And any other questions that come through on the Q&A, I'll ask if Camille can answer those. Now I'll hand the floor over to Bart, who's being hosted by Hans from the Netherlands Food and Consumer Product Safety Authority, who'll be presenting this carrot cake cookbook. Over to you, Bart.
Thank you very much, Sam, for the introduction. So my name is Bart van der Vossenberg. I work at the Netherlands Plant Protection Organization. So I'm not a part of the panel on communication, but work as a plant health researcher. And I'm very happy to have the opportunity to present and maybe to pitch some of the ideas that we have from the Netherlands to communicate on the general notion on plant health. So it is, of course, preaching to the choir a little bit, as we all know that plant health is a really important topic, so much that we have encased this into national and international laws. So plant health is a very important matter for plant productions, forests, natural planted areas, natural ecosystems, and so on and so on. So that's just a bit from EU legislation. But of course, yeah, this is incredibly boring. So who is really aware of all these legislative texts and how to get this notion and this importance across to a broader public? And to me, as a plant health researcher, of course, we communicate a lot to other professionals in terms of scientific papers, but I'm personally also very much enthusiastic about trying to get this message across to particularly a younger audience, to get that notion of plant health and the importance of plant health and healthy plants across to people at a very young age, so they can carry along that feeling with them in their future lives. So how to get the attention of people? Well, carrot cake usually does the trick. So I've done a small poll in the past, and it appeared, and of course I have to admit as a scientist, so that wasn't really a full global poll that I did there. But at least under that particular Dutch audience, I found out that more than 70% of the people interviewed are very, very keen on having carrot cake. So it's among the top 3 of cakes that people really, really love. And I can tell you that you are not alone if you are a carrot cake lover, because there is also 312 plant pests that also love carrot cake. And I'll take you across that. So let's take a look at this recipe. So you now have also a recipe available to all of you so that you can go and make carrot cake with your children back home if you'd like, or with other nieces, nephews. And so I'm not going into detail in this recipe, but you can see among the ingredients, there's a number of kind of obvious plants that are needed to create these cakes, such as carrots, and there's sunflower oil and flour. So yeah, of course, quite direct plant sources. But if you have a little bit of a broader look, you can see there is actually many, many more plant species that you would need to get this recipe. Think, for instance, of some of the other ingredients, such as milk or eggs, and the plants that you need to feed animals that are also producing some of these ingredients for your carrot cake. So it's much more than just flour and carrots. And but it's really, yeah, you might have some walnuts to decorate the topping, sugar from either sugar cane or sugar beets, and so on and so on. So there's many, many more plants actually involved in such a recipe than you would initially think of. So, and if you then look at the associated plant pests and plant pathogens for all these different ingredients, you can sum up and see that there are actually quite a lot of, so these add up to the 312 plant pathogens and plant pests among the different host species. Corn is a big one, with also insects, a lot of insects feeding on corn. And so you can get a little bit of an idea on other organisms that like these plants. And if you look at regulated pests, and of course, regulated pests, that's different from country to country, from region to region. But for the European Union, these are the number of regulated pests associated with the different hosts. And you could see already there's quite a large number of plant pests and pathogens targeting corn. And that is also reflected in the number of regulated pests on those hosts. So, and when you look at this entire collection of insects and viruses and bacteria, nematodes and fungi, all feasting on the ingredients of carrot cake, so there is a number of carrot cake related species that feed on more than one plant species. So the vast majority feeds on one particular host, some on two, some on three, but there is one species that is able to feed on all on an astonishing of 7 different host plants from needed for carrot cake. And this is Spodoptera frugiperda, the fall armyworm. So it's a moth species that has been on the rise over the last few years. So a big spread internationally with an enormous broad host range, and really a major threat to different countries worldwide for different crops that are being produced. So really a spotlight species for carrot cake. So this might be the biggest threat for your carrot cake among all the different pests and pathogens that are feasting on the ingredients. So having said that, could we somehow turn this into a quarantine cookbook? A cookbook filled with recipes for disaster. And as Lucy mentioned earlier, so is there a need for a general concept of plant health? And yeah, the general public does care about plant health in general. And of course, we don't need more doom and gloom, as was mentioned earlier. But such a cookbook like this could present really simple ingredients of locally interesting recipes that actually could then be translated into which plant species do you need, which risks are associated, to give a spotlight species for each ingredient, and really to have something fun to do with the family, but also to learn a little bit about plant health and the importance of that. And not only plant health, but the importance of plants in general to be part of the food that you're preparing. So, having said that, can we make this happen? Do you have any ideas on recipes? But maybe more broadly, and I think this is a question that could be a question that is present among of the audience here as well today, is that, okay, we do have all these ideas in our minds, but how to put them into practice? How to get from those ideas to something really concrete that you can use in your communication strategies? To be honest, so this is kind of an idea that is going around here in the Netherlands. There's no real official vehicle for it yet. It would be lovely to make this happen. But yeah, so that part, from going from idea to really actually doing this, that is a challenging one. And with that, I would like to thank you for your attention, and happy to answer any questions.
Thanks very much for that, Bart. That was a really interesting approach, and really cool to see, something that we could with every day. I think you'd had a request to the audience as well, so if they have any other examples of recipes that could be tried in this way, please feel free to post this in the Q&A chat, and then we can talk about it here as well. So that was really great. One question that has come up in response to previous presentations before, but maybe you'd be quite well placed to answer this, Bart, considering that you're in research, and probably also one of the only people that can say that some of this legislation is boring without having repercussions. So I wonder whether you could talk about maybe the interaction between different sectors. So whether it's state, whether it's research, whether it's industry, and the importance of collaborating across different sectors for this sort of communication, and how important that might be. Thank you.
Yeah, so I would say that it is of key importance. And so usually we are approaching all these plant health issues from a research perspective, diagnostics, but also track and tracing in outbreak scenarios. And particularly in those cases where you have very technical scientific output that actually impacts the way that you need to look at the interaction of pathogens with their hosts, with risks associated from trade, and so on and so on. It is really important to place yourself in the minds of your audience and trying to get that message across. And actually, quite often there is all types of output that we are trying to come up with to bring that message across. And actually, gamification works quite a lot. So board games have been used, or other playful ways to demonstrate some of the aspects there. And that doesn't really necessarily dumbs it down, but it helps you to take that message across. And then from those general baselines that you're establishing together, then you can start adding technical details.
That's really great. Thank you. We're getting quite a lot of likes on a comment just that has said that it's a very interesting approach with the carrot cake. So I think this is a really popular thing that you're doing. So it would be great to see more of this in the future. And I think it's going to be quite a good inspiration for everyone in their own communication campaigns as well. In the interest of time, we'll just move on to the next presentation. So this is me presenting here. So you will have seen today a lot of different presentations on different communication campaigns. And one that is obviously a tool that we developed in 2022 within EPPO with the help of the plant health panel on plant protection information that are represented here, is our platform on communication. So you should see that on the screen now. So the whole purpose of the platform on communication was to provide a resource or an area or a tool where national plant protection organizations could upload some examples of their communication campaigns. So you've obviously seen some great examples of videos, some stands and tools and things like this that have come up in the past. But we've created this platform where there's all kinds of things from every single EPPO member country that has been uploaded here. And it's used to help inspire different MPPOs and increase the reach of their campaigns as well. So here, I'll just guide you through the platform on communication. So this is open for any MPPO representatives. And here we've got the page that you'll go to when you log in. On the left-hand side, we've got a search bar where you can look for specific different content. So whether you're looking for mobile apps that have been developed, whether you're looking for posters, whether you're looking for inspiration on goodies or conferences or things like this. And then if you're doing a campaign related to a specific pest as well, we've got the opportunity to search for a very specific pest that you're interested in, a country, which you can also use to search for things within your own language. And then you can filter by more recent things or future posts as well. Not future posts, sorry, up to date or historical posts. So there's a really great resource here that can be accessed freely. So here I'll take you through an example of one of the sorts of campaigns that we have on here. And you might see that in EPPO we're joined by all of these beastie bugs, which is a campaign from a couple of years ago. And here you can see sort of the range of different things that we've put up for this campaign. So, oh, sorry, I've jumped through the video. So here we've got obviously the pest itself, which has been sent across the EPPO region. We've got different postcards produced by member countries. We've got other types of campaign material. We've got some games that were created. So Bart mentioned earlier the importance and interest of gamification of some of these communication campaigns, colouring facilities for children, some baked goods that have been created, some videos that have been created, just to show the range of different communication campaigns and tools that are available on the platform itself. One thing that's also really great, so a lot of people use the EPPO Global Database. So if there is a specific pest that you're interested in and you're trying to find out information on its distribution, host plants, or anything like this, we now also have a section that you'll see if you go to EPPO links, and you'll see any linked communication campaigns associated with that as well, which can be really useful for specific pests that you might be working on in your member governments. So then it comes to how you can register for this platform. So first, you obviously go to the home page and register. It's an important point that only MPPO contacts of EPPO member countries can register. So you'd fill in your details if you're from an MPPO of the EPPO region. And then maybe tell us why you want to join, or if you've got specific material that you want to upload. And then we can process that within the Secretariat and you'll be able to access all of this material yourself. And then there's obviously the opportunity to upload a campaign yourself. So say you've done some outreach at a local fair, or you've created a flyer and you think it would be helpful for other people to see, or you want to increase the reach of this campaign, you can upload this on the platform itself. So you just go into your settings, then modify your campaign, insert any information. And then you see this blue box where you can upload different content. It's quite easy. It's quite simple to use. And then you can upload specific information. And then within this, you can then have the link to the global database by putting in the name or the EPPO code for the specific pest you're working on. Put in some more information. If you've got a web link or more information for specific content that people can follow, you can put that in there. Attribute, different courtesy, and then again, if it's a specific media format that you haven't encountered before, you can select the tag for that, and then everyone will be able to filter and see that too. And then we will obviously validate it afterwards, and then everyone who has access to the campaign, access to the platform, can then access your campaign too. So here is, we will also post a link to this later, and it will be available too, but you just follow this simple link to access the communication website. And just to remind you that this is only MPPOs who can upload material to the platform itself. So unfortunately, we're not open more broadly, but it's a great way that if you're a member of EPPO, a member country or MPPO, you can see and access all of these brilliant campaigns that have been presented today. I'll stop sharing now. Now we'll open the floor to any broader questions, or if you've got questions for previous topics as well, we can talk through this. But otherwise, we've got some of the results from the poll earlier that we can share. So I see we've got a question about what sort of material would be good to upload that's currently missing. So that's a great question. Thank you. So we've got some. Currently, we've got a lot of different leaflets for communication campaigns or posters that are quite popular with different member organizations for certain countries that upload and share these sorts of things. But there's certain media formats that's missing. So we know there's stuff like podcasts that are getting more and more popular, certain creative things. So if you've developed a goodie, so something like Beastie the Bug or costumes that are again quite popular in outreach activities. This sort of content would be really nice to see as well. But realistically, anything that's anything that you would want to upload, I think, is always very welcome. And it's great to just see what other countries are doing as well. It's a great resource for all of our member countries too. Okay, we've got another question. Show real beetles at public events. Whether we could find quarantine pests embedded in resin. I think this is a really great idea. Before I joined EPPO, I did do some communication campaigns where we had physical samples. And I think especially when you've got kids, I think it's a really interesting thing where they can really see what they look like as well. So I think that's a great idea for things that people could incorporate within their communication campaigns as well. We're approaching the end of the webinar now. I'll invite any of the panelists if they have anything that they would like to share. Otherwise, we will go on and we're going to ask some questions of the audience as well, just to gauge what sort of participation you currently have with communication campaigns. So I'll just open if the panelists have anything to share. Otherwise, we'll go on with some of the polls. We don't have anything. So did we want to share some of the results from earlier? Yeah, I will just open the second poll, and then everyone can answer whilst we get the results from the first poll ready to show you all.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today. It's been a very good participation, and we could see that the presentation were very interesting because we had 230 participants that stay all over the 2 hours of the webinar. So thank you for that. We can say also we had although we had a wide focus, I mean, it was mainly targeted to start with the EPPO region. So we had a participant from all EPPO countries probably and worldwide. So thank you for joining that. And then we had the question, are you involved in any communication activities? And here we could see that we have a nice overlap of different sort of experience. We had 20% of participants who had no experience at all, and then one third, let's say, that have some experience or a bit of experience, and only one person here there that was a full-time job. So I think that that can show that everybody is eager to do something, but it's also benefited sharing it together to see what the others are doing and how we can share our resource. Not surprisingly, we had like 3/4 of the participants that were mainly from the governmental organization, which is the main target of EPPO, but we are happy that there were some non-governmental organization and some private company and private individuals and people from the industry that could join also and from the research. So thank you for joining us also today. Yeah, maybe we can share the outputs of the new pool. So it's still going on.
Yes.
So
okay, we're mostly there, but I think it'd be quite interesting for everyone to see the results now. So I'm just going to end the poll and show you some of the results. So I don't know if this is now coming up. Is this coming up? Can people see the results? Can other panelists see the results of the poll? Wonderful. So just to share in case other people can't see. So we've got a really great spread of how the webinar has succeeded. Lots of people are definitely interested in getting more involved with communication activities. People interested in exploring more. And it's great to see again more awareness of campaigns, and thank you also to those who've just joined out of interest. This is really encouraging for us as well. We've invited some response on what sort of communication materials you would like to see from EPPO. Bring back Beastie. Yes, I think we should be taking Beastie everywhere we go, like we used to. And some more templates. I think this has come out in some of the Q&A before as well. So this is really useful for us to know that we can adapt some content so that different members can see this and use it in their own campaigns as well, especially different organizations that might not have the full-time resources to do this. So this is really encouraging for us to see. More webinars, greater social media presence, and expanding the type of communication material, as well as campaigns on specific topics. So this is really helpful for us, and we'll take this on board and see what else we can do, and then hopefully you'll see some of the output of this. And then we'll look at some of that specific feedback that people have given in the answers, and hopefully you'll see some more content that you're wanting to see from EPPO, as well as the panel on plant protection information. We have one final announcement we would like to make, which is very topical considering the time, and follows very nicely on from where the webinar has started. I'll pass back to Muriel.
Yeah, and also to answer the question, of course, also the recording of this webinar and the presentation will be available soon on EPPO website on the page where you add the announcement of the workshop. Well, we want to finish this webinar. We hope that we have been, you've seen some examples, you are now enthusiastic in communication, and we had set up the time of this webinar to let you some time to think before now the International Day of Plant Health. This day is on the 12th of May. It's been established for 3 years now as a tribute to the follow-up of the International Year of Plant Health. The theme for this year is the importance of plant health in One Health. So the One Health approach is really showing the interconnection between human health, the health of other animals, and the health of plants and the wider environment. So it's not an easy topic, I think, but it's a very crucial topic to show the importance of plants for everybody, everywhere. There will be some material available on the FAO website. You have the link at the bottom of this page. There is hashtag to use if you are using it on social media. We encourage you to communicate on these days, and of course you can go on the platform, you can be inspired, and we encourage you to share also what you have done for this day, or what you plan to do for this day in advance, so that you can inspire others. With this, I think we are sharp on time.
I think we've managed to finish slightly early, which is always a great thing. If you've got time allotted to this, you've then got some time for a tea or coffee or just a short break before your next meeting. Thank you so much to the panelists from across the EPPO region. We're so grateful for your time, and I think our audience has really enjoyed watching all of your presentations and great examples of communication campaigns. As I said, we will send some of this links and content out afterwards in an email to all participants, as well as any extra information the panel wish to share. And thank you everyone who has come to watch this. We're really grateful for your participation and all of the questions that you've asked. And we hope it's useful, and please feel free to get in contact with EPPO if you've got any further questions or anything that you'd like to ask following this. Does anyone else have anything they would like to say? No? Then here we go. Everyone's got 6 minutes of free time. Thank you very much for attending. It's been really great. All the best and have a great day, everyone. All the best.
Bye to all of you.